Welcome to day 161, Coffee with Kenny. We're leaving the hangar, going to head over to my house, land in the yard. Yesterday we did just a little pre-briefing there on the ground. I did from the house, just to kind of show you what it looks like. Warsaw traffic, helicopter 26 Papa departing the hangar's north end of the field to the south. Warsaw traffic. So now, we're going to buzz over there and land. Day 161, this has been fun, and I've had this house almost a year now. Been waiting to do this for quite some time, and today was just a nice day. Got the doors off the Enstrom. This morning had a great coffee with Kenny, enjoyed that, sitting out on the deck and talking about helicopter training, and I just thought, you know what, yesterday we were going to talk about it, today I'm going to do it. So, normally on a confined area I go around at least 3 times, making sure I keep 500 AGL, making sure I keep 60 minimum on the airspeed. Today, because we're landing at my house, and I've blown over it a bunch, and I have shot one approach in there but didn't set down because the ground was just too soft, and I knew that. I just wanted to see what the approach felt like, and I knew I was going to film this one day, so I wanted to do it on a day when the wind was in the right direction. It is today. It's from like 190 to 250, which is perfect to go in over this channel, so I'm not flying over anybody's home. And I just texted my neighbor, said, hey, I'm going to be landing in the yard, and he gave me a big thumbs up. And I said, if you can make sure nobody approaches the helicopter until the blades are done spinning. You know, I explained to him it takes a couple minutes to shut it down. And he said, you know, cool. So my neighbor's got to be there in the backyard, making sure nobody approaches the helicopter, so that's awesome, right? Good neighbor, first one I met the first day I bought the house, and he's been an awesome neighbor, right? And he works for the police department. I know they'll do a good job to make sure nobody walks up. Not that I'm really worried about it, but you know, people approach helicopters, and they like to approach helicopters. And you know, it's exciting. Most people don't get upset. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes you'll land somewhere and you can get people really, really frustrated. But nobody seemed to get upset when I stopped before, did that approach in. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, I made sure that, you know, I mentioned it to Jack, who works for the police department. He mentioned it to the chief of police for the lake area.
10-5 below, next 5 minutes.
And he said, no problem, there's no ordinances or nothing. I talked to my neighbor on the other side, and he's like, heck, I don't care. He goes, land there every day all summer as far as I care. He goes, we'll come out and take pictures and video. So I've talked to the neighbors, they know what I do. Isn't the first time I've done it. And the fact that there's no, you know, ordinances or anything, that's also cool too. So it doesn't take long to get over the house. I just started 9 minutes ago. Since I started, went through my startup. Hoping my batteries are going to last. This GoPro is old GoPro. The battery ain't that great. And I'm using got another fancy camera over here. Hopefully it does a good job and will come out. Stabilized camera. We'll see how well that works. Looks like it's doing good so far. So I probably will just, you know, kind of make a circle just to make sure nothing's changed. Nobody's drove into my yard or, I don't know, make sure nothing else goofy's going on. But I checked it this morning. Got my neighbor alerted that I'm coming in, so he'll be out there watching. I know he was out in the yard just before I left. So I'm not really worried about anybody approaching, not worried about anybody complaining. The wind's in a great direction for what I want to do, for the way I want to go in. It's perfect. So yeah, just on the north side of the lake. So we're going to head over and make an approach into my yard. I have to tell you, I just absolutely love what I do. And, you know, flying helicopters can be a struggle financially, mentally. It can be a struggle on your family. And I never want anybody to, you know, put their own health at risk or, you know, how do you want to say it? You know, make sure you have that good life balance, right? A little noise in the radio today, but that's because I got both doors off. I just unplugged the extra headset, so hopefully it'll be better than what it was the first part of the flight, but I'm going to use it. If you keep the aircraft in trim, you don't usually get a lot of wind blowing through, but today's kind of gusty, so I might have some extra wind coming through that not normally. Last few days of training this week, we had the doors off. We had no problem at all. Almost I could keep them keep these guys keeping it in trim, sound was no real problem. Beautiful day. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 boats I could just count right off the bat. People are having fun. That's going to be me later. I'm not sure, you know, right now between boats and helicopters. I love them both, but I got 20 years in helicopters, only a year in boats, so I'm kind of favoring the boats right now. But it's a flippin' beautiful day. Oh my gosh. I can see my yard, everything's looking good. And again, I'm gonna go right over this channel, so I'm not going over anybody's houses. I'm not flying right over their roofs. When I go to depart the area, I'll kind of go in between the houses. I won't fly right over somebody's house, right? Just trying to be respectful. And in the event of an engine failure, we want somewhere to go, right? We want to make sure that we got somewhere to land. So I'll be careful going in, careful going out, not to be right over top of anybody's houses. It was kind of fun with my neighbor when I did that first approach. When I saw him the next time, he's like, well, you didn't blow any shingles off my house. I'm like, good. Didn't blow any off my house either. And the way the wind is coming, our houses will be fine. And then downwind, there's houses clear on the other side of the channel, but they're quite a ways away. So I really don't think I'm going to disturb anybody's house. Don't think I'm going to disturb anybody's shingles. I might disturb somebody's nap, but it's 5 p.m., so, you know, I wouldn't do this at, you know, 9 o'clock at night when the sun was setting, as much fun as that would be. You know, some people go to bed early. So looking good on the ground. I'm going to go on around and get back over that channel and shoot my approach in. Of course, before I land, I'm going to do a pre-landing check, which I'm landing anyway, right? But if I had a problem, I could divert back to the airport versus going to my house. But everything looks good. We just changed the oil on this thing, did the cleaning, cleaned the blades, got it all prettied up. So I feel good about everything, should be able to get it started. I'm going to make sure I take a little break at the house, take some pictures so I can, I don't want to battle it hot trying to start it, right? Be embarrassed in front of all the neighbors. So I'm going to take a break when I land, take some pictures in the yard, goof around a little bit. So here we go, approach into my yard.
Warsaw traffic, Warrior 50 Charlie is about 4 miles to the southwest, inbound, can do a 45 entry, downwind for 27, full stop, Warsaw.
Warsaw traffic, Cessna 372, 2 miles to the west, we're going left downwind for 27, Warsaw.
And so, of course, my camera went to hell on a stabilizer, went wacky on me. Gosh, dang it. Guess we'll have to shoot another approach. But I'm here. I made it. There's the yard.
Warsaw traffic, Warrior 50 Charlie on left downwind for runway 27, full stop, Warsaw.
Warsaw traffic, King Air 503 Charlie Bravo's 11 to the north. We'll be crossing midfield, enter left downwind, runway 27, Warsaw.
Warsaw traffic, Warrior 50 Charlie on final for runway 27, Warsaw.
Warsaw traffic, Cessna 375 to the west, we're joining left downwind for 27, Warsaw.
And Warsaw traffic, Gulfstream 500 Juliet, City Aviation taxi out to runway 27, Warsaw.
So there you go, there's the view from my deck. Pretty darn cool, huh? So now the helicopter's sitting here, you can get a pretty good scope of how this is really a pretty open area. And if anybody complains, you know what do they really got to complain about? Over there's going to be the fence and wire, so I'm going to be going out. So there's actually, in reality, all kinds of space. There is a fixed wing guy that showed up, of course, as soon as I'm shutting down, playing 20 questions. $5 says if anybody complains, it'll be the fixed wing pilot. Sorry, did I just say that? Over the years, that seems like that's where the planes usually come from. Go down and take a look from down near the aircraft. Hey, you made it home. We'll see how good my special windbreaker microphone is. One of the neighbor over here just came out. He's going to shoot some video for me when we leave. I had trouble coming in with my one camera I had set up in there on a stabilizer. And of course, as I'm set up for the approach, it goes, eh. So I have a clip that the neighbor shot for me coming in. He's a professional photographer, so he'll probably get me a pretty good shot as I go out that way. So I wanted to point out to you why we're here in the yard. When you're up there coming in, the confined area looks pretty small, right? And then when you get down here, now you can see by the size of the airstream sitting in the yard, you can see how much room there really is. And I'll swing the camera around here so you can see about how much room I got to go to get out of here. So I got a pretty good wind. I'm going to be able to lift, move a little bit forward if I need to, and I should be able to come out of there with all kinds of clearance. Shouldn't be a big deal. Clearance. So yeah, pretty cool. I got to do this. Been waiting an entire year to do this. But I think it's good that I waited. I made the comment about the fixed wing pilot. People don't get upset and get all mad. Over the years, the biggest pain in the butt we ever had that made complaints about us was a guy that flew, big jets, heavy jets, airlines. And we were doing something on a daily basis that was legal. And this guy was calling and complaining all the time. And it was like, dude, open up the reg book and you'll realize we're not doing anything against the law. So I'm gonna get me a sandwich here and get ready to head out and fire that baby up, giving her time to cool. Neighbor will shoot a little video for me. And since my first big setup didn't work out so well coming in, I'll just flip the GoPro around. You don't need to see me anyway. So we'll have a shot from outside taking off, and then I'll have a shot from the GoPro inside and kind of the thought process as I'm lifting up and trying to clear those trees.
All right, hope you can hear me. I had a heck of a time getting her started. Man, McKinnon's coming through Monday. These Lycomings, but this one's just acted up. Got a new battery and starts great cold, but man, is it not 1 star hot. But all right, so hey, did the best I could coming in. Got the neighbor up there on their porch doing some video for me, and I got the GoPro rolling. Hopefully it'll come out good for you too. So I'm just doing my run up right now. Wind's calmed down a little bit, but I'm pretty light. It's cooler. It's cooler now. I perceive no trouble getting out of here. I got lots of room. I'm gonna take my time. And then in the event I found trouble, or I had some trouble with amount of power getting out of here, I'll just set back down. It's that simple. On these off-airport landings like this, if you fly long, you probably will find a point where you'll go in somewhere too heavy someday. People will tell you don't do it, and then you'll do it, and then you'll go out and you won't have enough power to get out of your hole. So you'll have to wait for weather to cool, offload passengers. You'll have to come up with something else to do to get out of that hole, but it's common. We did it in EMS flying. A lot of times, we went with a certain amount of fuel, and then maybe the patient would be heavier than what was expected. We go to get out of a confined area. We couldn't get out. We had to sit back down and burn fuel. Burn fuel for 3 to 4 minutes, and then lift up and try to go again. just to give me a little bit of room, but I think I'm going to have all kinds of power. I'm pulling 32 inches, I can pull clear up to 39. And here we go. I'll get a little shot of my house going over the Keller Marina. That red line means keep the skids to this side of that. If I go past that red line, that means my blades are going to start eating the hanger, and nobody's going to be happy. So I don't go all the way to it. I keep the helicopter out, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet away, the skids away from the red line, and that way I know I'm not going to hit the hanger. And then also a rule here is we do not open, or we do not start helicopters with the doors open, period, ever. Doors must be closed before starting any helicopter. So don't do it. Doors closed. That's it. Like, subscribe, brothers. Comment below. See you in the next video. Oh yeah, I was gonna shoot the .7 mini check ride tomorrow, but it's supposed to rain all stinking day. So I may not get that in until Monday. But we'll do something tomorrow, even if it's wrong.